Good Friday afternoon, evening, wherever
Hey.
you may be. Hey, Victor, how you doing?
Always good.
It's been a few weeks.
Yeah.
Your mic sounds like it's far away.
We are skipping on work, my man.
Well, you're skipping on work, maybe not me, since I'm no longer gainfully employed.
Oh, that's true.
So that's it. Hi, by the way, if you're listening to us live right now, we've had some people comment in the past that Victor's been lower than me, so let us know over in the chat of roughly if we're sounding about the same or not. Victor, say one more thing right now.
Hello, this is me.
Okay, so hopefully that's close enough, but let us know in the chat. By the way, my name's Darren. This over here is Victor, and we're the host of a podcast called DevOps Paradox that comes out on Wednesdays at 6 a.m. Eastern. And when we're home on Fridays, or somewhere on Fridays, we will try to do a live stream. But that hasn't happened for 3 weeks, I believe, because of a lot of travel. And that's probably going to be happening again for another few weeks because your travel season is ramping way up.
I think I have actually only one more left for this year, but that's KubeCon, yeah.
I thought you had 2 more. Okay. Anyway.
Maybe. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I wake up over the weekend on Sunday kind of and
where am I
check
going
it
today?
out.
Okay. Well, good. So in this past 3 weeks, I have taken a deep dive into Claude specifically and Agent OS. When we last left our heroes 3 weeks ago, I was trying to show how to use Agent OS. Since that point, Agent OS has moved from 1x to 2x and made my life a little miserable, but also good at the same time. So we'll talk about and look at one of the projects that I did during this time. Actually, how about right now?
There we go.
So normally this is where we talk about the last couple of episodes. I've got 3 episodes. We won't go into detail on them other than saying there were 3. But Victor, do you notice something different about the website?
That the website?
Yeah.
Oh, it's now black background.
Yeah. Or white background.
Ah, there we go.
And new show notes and new sharing and better guests and all the things. It almost looks modern.
Oh, did you realize that you're incapable of making something look nice and then you delegated it to AI?
So I'm going to let Ingen say it this way. Did I vibe code it? Yes, but no. And at the end, I'm going to walk you through exactly what I did. Because number one, I am not a front-end person. I mean, think about it. I'm a Java guy. How many Java guys do you know that are usually really good front-end people, especially when it comes to static websites? 0?
Yeah, no.
Right. I'll pull back the covers.
It's not only about being good at front-end. I know a bunch of people who are good at front-end, as in coding it, and still cannot design something that does not look horrible.
Right. Now,
that would be designers.
Yes. Fortunately, I have a daughter that is a designer, so she did come through and is like, hey, why don't you do this, do this. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's where vibing did come in. So I'll explain better what I did. But I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little more responsive. There's us, which we need to change both our pictures, by the way, this year.
Look, I'm young over there.
Yeah, and same thing. Subscribe, a little cooler card thing, and then backstage of all the stuff and contact. This one I had to fight with, but it was me not understanding Hugo. So that's sort of where it's at. Oh, I didn't show this. So episodes and live streams. So I think it's okay. I mean, there's some weirdness still, and there's some other things I want to get done, but this is where it's at for today. But also a little count here. Sort of silly, but
nice.
And one thing that you don't see, which we will talk about. So anyway, this week's episode was, I'll just go ahead and fast forward through these because this was the first one. Okay, yeah, this was Tom. We talked with Tom at WireMock. You and I talked more about AI, and then we had Jim on from Zurant talking about dashboards are not enough. Dashboards were never enough, by the way, but we'll leave it at that. So anyway, episodes come out on Wednesdays at 6 a.m. Eastern. Oh, also one more thing. If you do land on the homepage, we've always had the player, the audio player, but we always had a still. Well, now what we have If this was working correctly, it didn't actually render. Oh, I haven't updated something. Anyway, what's supposed to happen here is there's actually a YouTube player underneath the image. So like here's the YouTube. So if you want to do it here, if you want to watch it, in this case, it's just, it's whatever it is. But anyway, okay, I don't have my notes here. Okay. Anyway, like I said, there's bugs, but that's fine. So let's go ahead and move on because I had to laugh. How do you overcome cloud complexity? Find out in the 2025 Cloud Complexity Report from HashiCorp. Now, who owns HashiCorp now?
IBM.
IBM. What do you think the number one item that they recommend is?
Something from IBM.
Hybrid cloud is the choice for most organizations.
Of course.
Because there's IBM Cloud, and then you can have IBM hardware all at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, at least they're switching, they're kind of recognizing that it's not only on-prem anymore. That's a step forward.
Yeah, that's true. The tool landscape is too complicated. Isn't that always been true?
I don't know. When was it not too complicated?
I think it would be. Did you ever watch the movie Hidden Figures? Where was
no?
So it was the three ladies. And of course, it's a bigger story than this, but three ladies that worked at NASA during the
yes.
I think back then we were just getting started with a mainframe. I think right there the tools were probably okay. At the very start, tools are okay. After that point, it's game over.
I mean, the story is always the same, right? Kind of like, it's always complicated because we try to do things that are complicated according to the requirements that we have, and requirements change, right? If you would try to do what they did for NASA in that movie, you would probably, anybody can do it now, right? With modern computers and technology and what's not. So it's been always equally complicated. It's just that the tools improved, and with improvements in tools and compute and what's not, the requirements change. We want more. It's as easy as that.
It looks like your video is breaking up.
I don't know what's going on.
Dude, you need to get one of the new M5s that just came out this week.
Yeah, I'm thinking I was about to buy it or reserve it, and then, then I check it out, kind of, but new one is coming, 16-inch. I don't really need it, but yeah, I need to get one of those.
Yeah. Coming back to this, operational challenges vary, but nearly all organizations admit they are struggling in some way with cloud infrastructure. Okay, nothing new. Platform security teams need to work better together. Nothing new.
Just small clarification. I really dislike when things are written like that. Yeah, companies admitted they're struggling with cloud infrastructure. That's absolutely 100% true. But that is read in a way that it feels like kind of, but they're not struggling in outside cloud. Right?
Yeah, which they are.
Yeah. The correct way to say it would be, companies are struggling with infrastructure. Yeah, wherever it is.
Yep. Platform security teams need to work better together. Oh, by the way, if you're watching over on LinkedIn, thanks for joining us over on LinkedIn today on my profile. Most organizations that find a unified platform for infrastructure and security lifecycle management helps overcome complexity. So basically, if everything's in a single box, everything is easier.
Yeah, by IBM.
IBM.
IBM is the only one who can deliver the complete solution for everything you ever dreamed from one vendor.
Automation is key to cloud innovation. Okay, think about this for just a second. Just take a deep breath. What automation tools now fall under the IBM umbrella?
I have no idea. I mean,
easy.
Everything is...
Well, Terraform.
Yeah.
Ansible.
Terraform, Ansible, so on and so forth, yeah. But again, kind of...
the key findings here are not like... Yes, they're the normal findings. They're not really anything new.
I mean, the first part is true. Automation is the key to innovation, because with automation, you can automate some of the boring, mundane tasks that you were doing, and then use that time that you gained to figure out something new. That's absolutely true. The only part I disagree, I mean, two parts. First, we know that for 40 years. It's nothing new, really. More importantly, again, why cloud? Does that mean that key to innovation, if you're running on-prem, is not automation?
Exactly. I don't understand. Yes to all the things. It becomes silly. Now again, this is not surprising based on who it's coming from, but it also helps me feel actually better about it because we're not seeing new things being introduced here. What this is telling me is that nothing is changing. No matter how much AI we throw at something, no matter how many bodies we throw at something, we still have the same problems year after year after year. And why is that? That's the real problem. That's where the money's going to be made.
We have variations of the same problems.
Yes.
Right. I don't know. 30 years ago, 40 years ago, our problem was not how to run it on 1,000 servers, right? But we had equal problem of how do we run this thing.
Yeah. Anyway, the report is there. So I would say it's okay. As much as I'm poking at it, and Victor's poking at it, if you're still having these problems, then it's like, okay, maybe the answer isn't to buy IBM. Let's put that there. Of course, nobody ever got fired for buying IBM that I'm aware of. It's just, can we start peeling any of these off? Is there any way we can start just getting rid of some of these?
I mean, we can never peel them. That's the point of the story. Is that we solved all the problems, almost all the problems that we had in the past, and that opened doors to doing new things, which causes new problems.
Yeah.
Right. If we would try to do things that we did like 30 years ago, I guarantee we would have no problems to do those things that were problems back in the day.
Right. Okay. Let's move on from this. Something that isn't as complex is Knative graduated.
Yeah.
How big of a deal is that?
Knative graduated. Okay. I thought that Knative is not under much development. I'm probably wrong.
Well, let's see here. Incubating in 2022 and graduated in October. Maybe there's not.
But it's well deserved. Knative has been around for a while. Many are using it. It should be graduated without doubt.
2018 is when it was initially created. So it's 7 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're an AWS user, there are now time for, if you're using any of these services, it's time to move on. Let's put it that way. Because they're all going away in some way, shape, or form. This Glacier one, though, I thought was interesting. For the using vaults and original REST API. Oh, okay. So you're not getting rid of Glacier, but you're getting rid of how you interact with some things. Some things are going away. So services entering sunset. FinSpace, Lookout, IoT Greengrass, and Proton. Proton was the only one that I think some people might have cared about.
Proton is the only one I heard about.
Yeah. And then the other services reaching is the mainframe modernization app testing. But anyway, just in case, this is the cloud way. We were talking about one way to resolve cloud complexity is just to get rid of the services. Then it's no longer complex.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, this is the reminder in all seriousness that just because you're using a service from a cloud provider today does not mean it's going to be there tomorrow.
Absolutely.
You need to, unlike being able to hug a server, right? You know that it's going to be there until the power supply dies.
But when companies like we have different approaches. We have Google on one hand that just kills stuff for nobody understands why. I don't think that they understand why. But companies like AWS, when they kill, that's a very good news for you, because if you're the user of that something that was killed And we know that Amazon does not kill stuff without good reason, and good reason being hardly anybody uses it these days. So if you use a service that is killed, it's good news. You just found out that you shouldn't be doing it because everybody else moved to something else.
I do want to clarify services and capabilities moving to maintenance. So these things are just moving to maintenance and not necessarily as it is. But here's the key part here. You have to read the second sentence. Services moving to maintenance will no longer be accessible to new customers starting November 7th.
Yeah.
But it's the second sentence. Current customers can continue using the service or feature while exploring alternative solutions.
Yeah.
That sentence is eventually it's going to go goodbye.
Yeah, basically, this is dead for us. We're going to maintain it just because you're paying us, but look for alternatives.
Yep. Okay. Alternatives. AI. Many employees are using AI to create workslop, according to Stanford. Make us more productive and not hate each other. I'll get into my stuff. Just read the article. There's been a lot going on. I have tried to find the Stanford report, and I haven't read it yet. There it is. But
workslop to me is very interesting in the context of AI, because more often than not, it surfaces that actually the processes that you're having are just silly, right? And then people come up with ways how to do those things that they're supposed to be doing that serves no particular purpose with AI. And that generates AI slop. But it's not a problem with those people. It's not a problem with AI. It's a problem that your company has processes that make no sense and people are doing them because they're paid to do them.
That's very well said. What's funny here is in such content costs around $200 per employee per month in lost productivity. Again, read it, study it. If you're being, I'm going to say, forced to use AI, and or you're just using it to vibe things as part of your day job, rethink your life quickly.
Purpose.
Yeah, it's because we'll get into it a little bit later. I keep on saying that, but we'll get there anyway. Good article and good study to keep an eye on. llms.txt, something I'd never heard of before. This is from Tamed. I think he's principal developer advocate at Harness. He goes into this because I had talked with somebody about, hey, we need to make sure that results are found in the LLMs. Because again, we talked about this before too. SEO is not necessarily dead, but it's not as important as being able to be a reference inside of an LLM response.
Correct.
Zero click is where it's heading. So I had never heard of it. So I've actually kept this page up on my work machine for a while. And it's basically talks about all the different things. So he sort of boils it down good for us. Let me just say that llms.txt will come back in a few moments. But this is a good overview. If you don't know what it is, this is a good overview because this is how I learned about it. A tool here that is not AI, Autoswagger. You're familiar with Swagger, right? The API thing. No big deal there. This is a command line tool designed to discover, parse, and test for unauthenticated endpoints using Swagger or Open API documentation.
Nice.
So think about things you may have not really checked out before. Well, now you can do it easily. And it gives you a nice little tool here. Not a big tool. I believe this one, it's BSD3, so it's fine. Autoswagger. Like to me, for you, Victor, this would be, go scan the Kubernetes endpoint. Or because there's a Swagger or Open API spec, I would assume, for Kubernetes somewhere.
It's Open API spec and Swagger is Open API, so yeah.
Okay, there you go. So that's Autoswagger. Now we're going to get into some AI stuff. MCP Snitch, I saw this week. Basically, you can install this on your machine, Mac only, by the way. This is Mac only. And it will find and watch all the traffic for what's happening on MCP traffic that's happening on your machine.
Okay.
So think of this sort of like a mix between Wireshark and maybe like a antivirus or malware type detector.
Yeah.
That's what I have not installed it yet. This is on my list of things to do this weekend because I just saw it this week. But it's called MCP Snitch. In fact, yeah, it just came out this week. GPL3 as well. But again, Mac only right now. So, and it looks pretty good. It's, in fact, if you take a look at it, it's actually written in Swift. Now the question is, do you use AI to help write this? It's a different conversation. That's that. runCLAUDErun. You're familiar with N8N, right? N8N. That's hard to say.
N8N, yeah.
This is runCLAUDErun. So to me, this is a variation of N8N that is Claude specific. Because I can schedule tasks to run in the background. I can also chain them together.
Okay.
So again, Mac OS only 2.
I have a very strong suspicion that we are going to see something like that coming from Anthropic not long from now. Because before it was random smaller companies like N8N doing those things, and now OpenAI did essentially the same, whatever they call it, right?
Right.
And that probably signals that all major model providers are going to do a service like that. And they're going to do it fast. So they're going to do it before they realize that that's mostly useless.
Yeah. But this appears to be, I don't know if this is a big team or not. I don't know if it's even a team. It could have been one person. It is free. It is not open source, but it is free.
Okay.
But at least it's a tool to take a look at.
Yeah.
And speaking of Anthropic, there were 3 big announcements, in my opinion. There were more than that, but 3 big ones over the past few weeks for us. Plugins showed up a couple of weeks ago. And then yesterday, Haiku came out, or Wednesday.
Oh, man.
Haiku.
It's amazing.
So let me, I'm going to hold back just a minute. So Haiku came out. The big thing here is it is as good as Sonnet 4. Not as good as 4.5, but that's 4, which is fine. And then the pricing is like 67% cheaper than Sonnet 4. I mean, it's...
Yeah, I think it's 1/3.
Yeah. Which is good for something else that I'm working on that I won't... I'll talk about it, but I won't give details on it. And then finally, Skills came out yesterday. So now you've got Skills and plugins. So it goes back to, I've been using Agent OS. Well, at this point, I really don't even need to use Agent OS once I figure out what I want my skills to be.
Yeah.
Because the skills will go down to a sub-agent, and the plugins to simplify. What world are we living in right now?
I think that Claude Code comes with this. I haven't tried it yet, but I understood it comes with a skill that is automatically executed when analyzing the code. And that's absolutely amazing. Not because it will analyze the code better, right? But because you can have code analysis now in sub-agent, and that sub-agent returns only the things that matter. Kind of, it's this file, this line, right? And that should save a ton of context. That should save a ton of the context you're working in, right? The amount of context is more or less the same. But you will stop polluting context with garbage when analyzing code.
Right. So skills and plugins too both work with Claude and with Claude Code. You just have to understand how to set them up. Now, what you will notice here, which is buried way down here, is that's the developer API. Here we go. If you want to see some example skills, that is published on GitHub. So which one would you like to take a look at? You want to take a look at... Well, okay, so it's interesting here because they're actually using a plugin to define everything. So if you're trying to understand plugins and skills, this repo is a good way of doing it. So it shows you the plugin to where we've got a document skills and we've got example skills, which happen to all be in the same repository. They just break it, and then you just map out, okay, where is the thing that you want to do. So like a skill creator, that seems like a good one. So we have a skill MD, which is let's look at it raw, because that's how we should always look at things. And it tells you about how to set up a skill. All that right there. And then any scripts you want. You can execute scripts. It doesn't have to be Python. It can be anything you want. This goes back to this is just, I'm at the point now to where my brain is mush for a lot of reasons, and this isn't helping. Because I go back to the Daniel Meisler personal AI assistant thing and how he's structured all that. Like, if I'm all in on Claude and Claude Code, I don't ever have to leave that ecosystem. We're going back to IBM, right? I find one tool that does everything for me. And I don't need to piece. Now, do I want to use different models? There may be chances to where I want to use a different model. So that's I'm sort of stuck, but is it good enough? This is the age-old question. Is it good enough?
Look, I will actually be publishing video in a couple of weeks, but Sonnet is the best model there is for software developers, period. I'm willing to fight anybody on this one, right? Unless maybe some special cases, Sonnet is the best model. So even if somebody takes it over, right? And tomorrow we have a model from a different provider that happens to be better at development-related tasks than Sonnet. Still, that will not be a massive difference. So the chances that if you invest in Claude Code right now, the chances that you will regret it because there is some tremendous difference by using some other model in the near future, let's say a year from now, is very slim, right? Sonnet might not end up, tomorrow Sonnet might not be the best model, but it's going to be close second, right? Or close third, with almost marginal differences. So yeah, invest in Claude Code, unless as long as you understand it, it's still not a 10 years investment, right?
Right. And that's where you might kick yourself, is if you think, we're used to thinking longer term investments. We can't do that now. It's like literally within a week, there were two major things that changed. Like, okay, we've been gone 3 weeks. I moved from Agent OS 1 because there's an upgrade to 2. Pluses and minuses to it, but overall I thought it was a better solution. Then we had skills come in yesterday. We had plugins come in a few days before. You turn around, I mean, it's easy to get whiplash. For as much stuff as is happening, as fast as it's happening, keeping up with it is next to impossible, which means you have to listen to us because we are keeping up with it. Now that I'm gainfully unemployed. So
you notice the big difference, how the shift is focusing from models to tools.
Yep.
Right? I'm not saying that we will not continue getting advancements in models. We certainly will. But I feel that that's not the primary focus anymore.
No, I agree because, well, actually, the focus should be, and whether this is a true meme or not, it was attributed to Jensen Huang, the NVIDIA boss. It's like the next millionaires will be plumbers and HVAC technicians because they're the ones, and electricians. So those skills are what we need now. We've actually needed them for a long time, but we really need them now. Because you don't want me fixing a toilet, that's for sure. So skills. So this is one of the big things that I'm going to be looking at over the next couple of weeks. Why do I say couple of weeks? Because I'm out some too. Let's go and take a quick look at your videos you had for a couple of weeks. AI coding. Okay,
Yeah.
so let me twist this out. So you did the normal AI thing because you've been focusing on AI, right? No big deal. Then you did the
AI,
Kubernetes
but
thing.
always within the context of things that I was doing before. So it's always
Correct.
within the context of DevOps, SRE ops, development, blah, blah.
But then you did this controllers deep dive, which like, why did you do this? What's the storyline here?
I have a very easy explanation. I actually always publish videos based on things that I want to do. Not kind of video is born afterwards, right?
Right.
And I had to write a controller. And it's been a while since I wrote controllers from scratch myself. It's a controller that still does something with AI, but then I thought, okay, so let's actually explore that. Too many people are complaining that I'm too much focused on AI. So I just wrote the controller, and I had to go deep into it. So here's a video. That's the reason.
So, by the way, I've got to get you and I have talked. It's like, yeah, let's work together on some stuff, and then it's just me that's not following up. I have to admit, your image generation is pretty interesting. Now, are you doing that, or is your editor doing that?
No. First of all, it doesn't look terrible. Do you agree?
It looks. I think it looks great.
There you go. So it cannot be me doing it.
Okay. There you go. Yeah. And then the one this week was infrastructure AI sucks. Yes. That's.
Yeah. It's some of the lessons that I'm learning in a relation between AI and internet developer platforms.
Yep. Let me go ahead and jump back here real quick because I got to switch out screens so we can do it. Nikos, good to see you. I'm sorry, guys, I was late doing this. Ingen, we saw you as well. I saw Karen. There's Karen. Good to see you. Luther. Okay. This is referencing back to the AWS page. They need all those developers working on developer queue. I don't disagree.
Yeah.
And
developer queue, is that AWS thing?
That's
right?
AWS's queue is there. Queue developer, I think, is actually the thing. I ask you tied
I suspect that AWS is not really heavily investing. I mean, when I say heavily, they are heavily investing in models, but I think that they are more focused on, adopting models from existing providers. I think that Anthropic is big over there, and even OpenAI, I think, right? Yeah. They're more focused on inference, charging you for creating models and consuming them.
Okay, so let me go ahead and add. I'll get rid of Luther here. So we talked about the website.
Wait, what was the previous comment?
What Luther had up? I agree with this too. Made me realize my AI skills are tied to Copilot and Gemini because that's what my employer pays for, and I don't have the luxury time to try other tools. So here's what I would do. If you can afford it, get a pro subscription to Claude. It's $240 for the year, I think, or $200 for the year. I think you save 2 months, which is what I had. Notice I said had. I had to upgrade to Max, which is $100 a month for the at least for the moment. And I'll explain why in a few minutes. But it gives you enough time. If you don't have a whole lot of time, that window, that 5-hour window, Claude is a 5-hour window thing. That don't get me started on that. But it's actually, at least you know how to set it. It's worth it.
And Gemini is a good model.
Yeah.
Right. And actually, for approximately 1 or 2 weeks, it was probably the best model for development, because I think that they released it just before Sonnet 4, I think, right? Or just before Sonnet 3.7. I don't remember anymore. Anyways, Gemini 2.5 is a good model. It's not my choice. It's not the best model, but it's good enough. It's good enough. I don't think that should be considered a problem. And as for tooling, yeah, I do think that Claude Code is the best, but there is plenty of others. Kind of like what your employer pays, that should not prevent you from doing stuff, right? Open Code is getting better every day. So try that one, for example. It's free. I mean, the models are not free.
Yeah.
Models can be free as well. You just need to invest 20, 30K in a really good machine and then run it yourself.
Okay. 20-30K. Good grief. Which is what I'm running into right now on my second project that I'll talk about a little bit. Okay, so anyway, we talked about the website changes. So I'm going to walk you through what I did. What I have is... Oh, now I know why those didn't show up. I'll explain all the things probably quickly. Some of you may find this boring. It's okay. So I was initially on Agent OS, which was .Agent OS at the time. And there is a product roadmap. So you go through and it helps you create the roadmap. So here's the phase 0 that I did. 512 episodes, because back then, prior to this change, our podcast episodes and these live streams all lived underneath an episodes path. I've changed that. And it goes into now there's episodes and live streams. And it figured out all this stuff. So custom theme foundation, I think I told it, I want something modern. I think that's all I said. I just want a theme that's modern. And I wanted light and dark. That was it. And it went off and wrote all of this. And I mean all of it. It even did accessibility for me. Something that I wouldn't have done as human, as somebody writing it by hand.
Oh, yeah.
Just in typography and just all these little things. And then content separation, I was able to add in. So we reorged some stuff, which is what I was talking about. So episode and live stream, which wasn't a big deal. Reconfigured Hugo. We use Hugo as the site generator. And then set up new templates. But then I started using these schemas. If you've ever looked at schema.org, that helps machines understand things. And then YouTube Player and Libsyn Player. Again, nothing huge, but interesting. Then we got into the next big phase, which I've done one thing on. There's still more to do. But the rest of the phases are not as important to me. It wasn't like I needed to get what we have, what you see today. To me, that was, okay, that's at least baseline. And I can add more things later when I'm bored. But then transcripts. Some people have been asking for transcripts. Now, for the podcast, so for the live streams, I'm not doing anything at all. So whatever YouTube's giving us is what we get. But for the podcast, we did transcripts for a while, and it was just too much of a pain. I mean, it was taking me 8 or 10 hours just to transcribe a 45-minute episode, and it's like, when you're not getting paid for it, that's a lot of time. A lot of time.
But when you say transcribe, you use some tool to transcribe and then 45 minutes to edit mistakes, or what?
No, 6 to 8 hours to edit mistakes.
6 to 8 hours to edit mistakes.
Yeah.
You know what's your problem?
My quality bar is too high?
Yeah, kind of like sometimes it's good enough is good.
Okay. So that gets me to today. So what I've got to do, I haven't done it. I've only done it for one episode. I think it's 319. In fact, I'll go over to it real quick. I think that's the only one I've got a transcript for. Yep. So if you see show transcript, then you're going to see it. Now, let me talk about this for a second. I can actually search. I would never have written a search for the transcript. It did it for me. So there's that. And for this, it's like, okay, it's close enough. So that's what I'm going to be doing. It's going to take me some time to go back through, because I have to pull up the old edited things, generate the file, bring it in. Just, it will take time. But at least it has somewhere to live now. So let me take you back through the rest of... So even though Agent OS changed from 1x to 2x, the basics are all still there. So when I got started, we also had specs. And these were all the specs I was having it write for me. So let's say... not that one. Do I have an earlier one? Nope, that was it. So let me look at core theme infrastructure. And then there were specs. There was this full spec of it. Site visitors, it did all this. I'd look at it, it's like, yeah, that looks okay. And then there are the specific tasks that it wrote for itself. Now, it understood what Hugo was, which was a big help. It understood the concepts of a Hugo theme.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't have to do anything. So there's all just using something like Agent OS, which I'm still a fan of, really helped me get what you see today, which I'm pretty happy with comparatively. Castanet was great. Matt Stratton, who wrote it, I'm very thankful for it. Got us through a lot of years. Do you remember the first year we were on Squarespace? That was a pain in the butt. Big pain in the butt. But then Agent OS 2 came out, which got rid of the dot, and I've written one spec now. We're talking about llms.txt. So from a planning perspective, why, again, if you go back and look at Dewan's post about it, what's an LLM text about? It's like a robots.txt for LLMs that are learning. So there's requirements, and I gave it 3 examples. I found Huberman Lab had one that I liked. Black Locust Lumber, a lumber site, had an LLM file because it looked interesting. And then the NVIDIA documentation. These are 3 very different styles. And then what we had, then it created an LLM's text. There's also this thing called an LLM's full text. Didn't know anything about that. And then we've got LLM's text for guests, live streams, and episodes. So how does this work? Well, every Wednesday when we release a new episode, and I've got to add it in for Saturday for when I do something for the live stream, I've got to run a job that's a Python script that Claude wrote for me to create these LLM files and push them up. Now, I could include it in my Netlify build, but it's like, I think I'll keep that. For now, I'm going to keep it because I've got to get it well automated first. But let's take a look at what the LLM's text looks like.
So is LLM text basically a way to tell model bots or whatever when they're scoring internet kind of basically don't bother with the website. Here's the same information as a text file.
Not really. Even though that's what I'd like to have. But that would be sort of like, remember the old keyword stuffing days to where you would, here's the web page, but here bots, this is what I want you to say instead. That would be that same problem. So what this is doing is it's giving it information, it's giving it context. So this is our base LLM's text file. So there's just some metadata. Again, I didn't write any of this. I reviewed it, and most of it looked okay. There were a couple things I tweaked out. And then there's the main, so we're telling it, okay, where are the main pages, right? This is true. And then detailed content about, this tells me, okay, where are all the different LLM text files, and then subscribe and social and examples. So who are the hosts? So this gets back to when I'm using a 0-click, I'm using a model and I get an answer back. Where do I want my stuff to be? And then AI representation. Yeah. It's pretty funny here too. It's like when citing, attribute as DevOps Paradox podcast with the domain name, right? So that's because you've seen the citing using just Claude, right? Just
exactly.
Claude. So that's what it should be. Do not train models to generate misleading information about episode content or host statements. Okay. Avoid speculation about upcoming episodes. Again, these are things that I would not have thought to write. It just wrote it for me. I was like, oh yeah, I like that. There were some things that it added that I didn't like. So there were a couple that I did pull out. But then tone and style.
It's feels almost like a system prompt.
Yep.
In case you're asked something that you should answer based on information from DevOps Paradox, well, this is your system prompt.
Right. So if we take a look at the specific, actually here, let's go back because I want to go ahead and show you full as well. And then I'm going to get into, so here's the full. So this is all the episodes, and it's just a link off to the episode itself. A deep link, not a redirect link. So if you go to the bottom of that, whoops, say it's a text file, who cares? And then it's got all the guests in here as well and what episodes they were on. So their bio and their episodes. And then I think I had one more thing, but let's look at just episodes so we can see what that looks like. because full has everything. That's like the kitchen sink. llms.txt. So there's all the episodes. And that takes us all the way back to 0 or 1. There is a 0, but it's the trailer. And then for ones where we have transcripts, okay, there's a transcript there, but it's actually broken. So I've got to fix some things still. But if we take a look at guest, to me, guest was the more interesting one. I'll probably look for Whitney. So, and I put it in alphabetical order, but if we look for Whitney here, so like, there's her bio and all the episodes that Whitney has been on.
Nice.
And we get to the bottom, and then it flips it over to where it's the guest directory alphabetical as well. So, again, with how this is working, it's like I did look at your Toolkit live site. I was thinking, oh, yeah, we need to do this too. But
oh, yeah.
What's interesting with this, we're going back to Haiku. I'll go and talk about Haiku 4.5. So this other project I'm working on right now, I've been working on it. So this website rewrite took me, how long did it take me? Probably about a week. There's no way I could have written a website like as a non-front end developer with everything that's going on in a week. There's 0% chance.
And I'm guessing it's not. Is it like full time week?
No.
Yeah.
Because at the time I was still on Claude Pro. So I could work for a couple hours. I could work for about 3 hours and it would shut me down, which was fine. I didn't care. I mean, that gave me a chance. Okay, go do something else. It was a built-in get up and walk. But now this new project I'm working on, I upgraded from Pro to Max $100 a month, which my plan will be to drop back from that. But with Haiku 4.5 coming out, so I've been working on that for almost 2 weeks.
On Haiku?
No.
Yeah.
On the second project that I'm working on.
Yeah.
So I've been working on it for about 2 weeks, and I finally, like mid last week, I decided, okay, I'm going to upgrade. Because I was really I was using Agent OS for it. It's been very helpful in getting it done. But I was running out at 2.5, 3 hours and then having to wait. And that just the cycles got to be too long. So I went ahead and upgraded for now. I'll probably keep the $100 max plan for a couple months. And then I'll drop back down to Pro. Because I won't need the max anymore.
Exactly.
So that's the way I look at it. I'll spend $200. Actually, I still had enough credit on my Pro to where I still have $40 of credits in my Pro account. So if I do work really fast this month, I may not have to pay more. But going back to Haiku, as soon as I saw Haiku come up yesterday, it's like, hey, look, I saw Haiku 4.5 just came out. Here's the post about it, just in case it didn't know about it yet. I went, like all the stuff I was using, I had about 7 or 8 sub-agents that were going to be AI driven, at least for now. The plan is those sub-agents are going to be AI driven for now to figure out what the deterministic answer will be, so then we can rewrite it as code later. That's how I'm approaching this problem that I'm working on.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, Sonnet, it's like, where can I move to Haiku? So it did some crunching. It's like, okay, previously you were Sonnet and old Haiku, was it 3.5? For, like it was 80-20 or 90-10, somewhere in there. And was able to flip it to where my Haiku is going to be close to 80% and Sonnet's only going to be 20%. And it was a 67% money savings right off the bat. I was like, okay, now I could justify it before. Like the spend to do the thing I'm doing was probably going to be $20 for each run. I mean, it's not huge, but $20 will add up. Now it's going to be like $2. I was like, okay, I'm happy with that. So I guess the moral of the story is, if you're not looking at Claude, even outside, this goes back to you, Luther. If you're not looking at Claude at all, I highly recommend you take a look at it.
Oh yeah,
I highly recommend it. Even just if you can pay for just $20 for 1 month to get access to everything, do that.
especially now with Haiku, man. It's when I read the announcement of Haiku, I was basically dismissed it immediately. Okay, kind of. They probably made a okay model, but it's Haiku. It's not supposed to be used for anything serious, and I just brushed away. But that coincided with the little project I was working on, which basically what I'm doing is that I'm generating a relatively big amount of data and using them in AI evals to deduce which model for the work I'm doing works better, right? Gemini, Sonnet, blah, blah, blah. And I dismiss Haiku, but okay, why not? I have 9 models included in that analysis, right? And I will be publishing a report soon. And why not make it a nice round number, right? And have 10 models included. Let me put Haiku, kind of like, let me show how bad it is for any serious work. I sent you the link, actually, Slack, Darin. And that analysis, I have no input in it, right? I just provide automatically generated numbers. You know which model turned up on top?
I imagine it's probably Haiku 3.5.
4.5.
Oh, 4.5. Okay, so you just did it yesterday. Okay.
Yeah, I literally did it maybe yesterday before yesterday. Haiku, based on that criteria, is the best model for the tests I'm running, right? For the data I'm gathering. I'm not saying for everybody and so on and so forth. And when I say best model, I don't mean literally best results. I mean, if you combine different criteria, like how good the results are, how fast it is, what's the price, and so on and so forth, right? So not the best model in terms of pure output. But if you combine everything, different criteria, it turned up being on top. On top.
It's amazing.
It's absolutely amazing.
Going back to what Dan said here, session limit reached all the time, which is fine. Because that's a built-in, go take a break. You've been sitting here too long.
Yeah.
I actually look forward to that happening. It's like, well, on Pro, I wasn't looking forward to it happening because I knew I had a bigger break, but now the break is only like an hour. It's like, okay, I can go do something else for an hour. Hopefully that was helpful to you. Like I said, Agent OS, like I could do a whole thing on Agent OS. I may end up doing something on Agent OS, but it's changing so much. It's almost like Claude Code. Has a minute passed on the clock, then there's a new version of Claude Code for you to download. That's the way Agent OS feels, but it's like instead of that, it's an hour instead of a minute. And to really help write those specs out, this is where, going back to the slop article we looked at, this is where spec-driven development and vibe coding, this is the divide. Like when I was working on cleaning up some bugs on the website template, at a point, I finally got to the point to where I would just vibe the fix because I didn't need a spec. I just needed it fixed. Maybe if it would have fallen in the right sequence earlier, then it would have been correct to begin with. But because I caught it late, then it wasn't caught during the thing. So it really helps you think through, okay, if I'm writing specs or if I'm having somebody else write the specs, meaning the AI write specs, how much closer do I need to look? Would I have been able to catch that before now or not? And most of the time the answer was no. I probably would not have caught it.
Yeah. And it helps, at least in my case, it helps a lot in thinking.
Yeah.
Right? I can focus almost all my energy on thinking of what I want and how I want to get it. And spec, kind of like, I need specs, and I don't really want to think about the details that are almost irrelevant, right? But are needed.
Yes.
Right? So they're absolutely needed. So I'm not saying we don't need those things. We do. But when I look at the specs, before I was actually reading full specs that I'm generating, right? Now I'm not doing even that. I've developed, my brain developed mechanism of scanning. Okay. Oh, this is actually something that requires my attention type of stuff.
Yep. And that's what I caught myself doing as like the first couple of specs. It's like, okay, I'm looking at them close, but not really. But then I realized, I probably need to look at them closer because this didn't work out in this pass. So, okay, let me look closer. until finally it's like, oh, I understand what this is. Maybe we need to do it this way. But there's been a lot too, to where going through and answering questions of, like when it's saying, okay, let's review all these new items, thinking an Agent OS perspective. And it's like, this sounds good, but I may change my mind later.
But the experience you said about building that website, right, is very similar to my experience, and just proves in a way that all those people that are claiming that they are doing one-shot vibe coding type of stuff is just not real. I don't imagine a world in which you would get that website by telling AI what to do and it's doing it, and you're just saying, okay, let me just deploy it to a server.
Yeah, that would not have worked. It just, because you saw how many specs I had in the first version. And
and I'm pretty sure that you change your mind a gazillion times in the process.
Yeah. So, but I'm pretty happy with it. Just taking a look at the website, it's better than what we had. And it's given me, again, I'm not a front-end developer. I'm not a UI developer, but I was able to add in things like the schemas. I've been wanting the schemas for a long time. But now I got it.
No, I kind of changed the way I'm describing those situations compared to before. Before, I might have said that AI saves me time. I'm not saying that anymore. Like, if I was building that website that you just built, you said you built it in a week, was it right?
A week to 2 weeks, somewhere in that ballpark, yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised that you would actually spend the same time building that website without the AI. So it didn't save you time, but it gave you much, much better end result. I would bet that you would actually say, okay, 2 weeks. That's what I give myself to build this website, and that website is what it is, right? So it didn't save you time. It just helped you generate much better result.
Right. Well, so I can say,
in a way,
it did save me time because I would not have been able to write what it did. So
but you would end up probably with a very different website if you did it yourself, and you wouldn't spend 3 months on it.
No,
without AI.
Exactly. What I'm saying is this felt like a low enough target. It's like, okay, let's see if it can actually create a Hugo theme for me. And then I saw, okay, it got the skeleton in, let's go. And that's when I went down the rest of the route. And again, I was willing to spend up to 2 weeks on it, and it wasn't like 8-hour days or anything. It was whatever. But now it's the other thing I've been working on. It's been close to, that's the reason why I upgraded to Max. It's like I got tired of waiting because I was doing so many other things. But now I'm testing that and finding that, and unfortunately Haiku came out yesterday.
Ignoring now whether one can afford it or no, ignoring that for a second, that higher subscription is so worth it.
Yeah.
Kind of.
For focused work, it is.
Yeah, kind of. One can say, okay, this does not match my budget, which is perfectly fine.
That's me, by the way. That's not.
Yeah. But kind of, I cannot imagine a person saying this is not value for the money.
And that's the reason why I'm saying if I can get through, even if I have to pay for 2 months worth. Again, I had still enough credit left in my year-long thing. So the $100 came out of that. I think I have $40 left. Even if I have to pay $100 again next month, or whatever my reset is, I should be able to have the project done within that time frame. Then I drop back down to my normal pro level. Because that's the one thing I'm learning, not having a paycheck coming in every couple of weeks. I'm learning how to cut things out of the budget really fast.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm also learning that when I need to spend the money, I'll spend the money. And this is one of those things like, okay, I can, even if it's 2 months, okay, it may cost me $200 at worst. It's worth the shot.
But I'm curious because when you do, I don't have one of those subscriptions, just to be clear. So I don't know exactly how it works, but I'm guessing that it calculates based on the price and how many tokens you spent, and then it cuts you off. And the reason why I'm asking this is that I'm now curious, how long would it take with the normal base subscription, cheap one, until you are stopped, but by using Haiku?
That's a good question, because since Haiku just came out yesterday, I don't know. But I think I don't understand how they do the usage math. I mean, if you're using a token, that's easy, right? You're paying for everything all the time. But by doing the prepaid blocks, I mean, basically I know I'm getting subsidized because I know I'm using more than $100 in credits right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Where I'm going to is that I wouldn't be surprised that we are getting to or almost there, that with very cheap subscription and smaller models like Haiku, we can get almost full day of work uninterrupted. We're probably getting very close to that, right? Yeah. You might be getting 80% quality of the big model, but hey.
Yeah. That'll be the switch, because because I was in the middle of, again, going back to Agent OS, I was right in the middle of a whole path, a whole spec. So I wanted to stick with Sonnet to finish that one out. I finished that one out last night. So any new specs I have to write, my default's going to be Haiku for that.
By the way, one curious thing, I haven't tried it yet, but I did notice if you check release notes of Claude Code, right, that mentions Haiku, and when you go to the model selection, and if you select Haiku as your model in Claude Code, it actually switches automatically to Sonnet for planning.
Correct. So it's walking the steps.
Yeah, kind of like, okay, so I need to think about this, plan it, Sonnet for a relatively short period of time, and then let's execute it, and then that's the bulk of the work. It seems that it's using Haiku and Sonnet in the similar way. I don't know if you ever used plan mode before.
Yeah, with Sonnet and Opus.
Yeah. Sonnet Opus, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw, in fact, I ran out of my Opus credits. So it's already told me that. So any planning I was doing was in Sonnet.
Yeah.
So, all right. Exciting times, I guess. So we won't be here next Friday. We may or may not be here the next Friday. Now, that next Friday is October 31st, Halloween.
Okay.
So if you show up, you have to bring candy.
Okay.
Which I don't have any of that here at the house, which is a good thing. But we may or may not be here on the 31st. I'm not sure yet. But then we're out again until November 21st. So there's a chance that we'll be here on the 31st, and then Victor is gone. It's Victor's fault this time, not mine. I think most of this was mine. So anyway, thanks for hanging out. Hopefully it was helpful. I think if you haven't started using Claude, now's the time to do it. Just do 1 month at $20. I mean, what's that? 4 coffees? 2 coffees if they're fancy?
Yeah.
Or 2 coffees with tips. I think it's worth at least a look. The problem will be that it's coming out. There's like the skills just coming out yesterday. All these new things. Like, okay, now what? Because everything that I knew 2 weeks ago, it's still true. But is there a better way? It's
still equally useful. It's just kind of, hey, the rate of change is faster than before, but it's always the same, kind of like you figure out something, you use it on a daily basis, and then when you have time, you try to figure out a new feature of whatever you're using, right?
Yep. Okay. Anyway, thanks everybody for being here with us. I was going to apologize for being gone, but I'm not going to apologize for being gone because life goes on. And we'll see you back maybe in 2 weeks, and it might be longer than that. So it could be up to 5 weeks, I think. So anyway, if we don't see you on Halloween, have a fun and safe Halloween. Be nice to the kids. Get them lots of good candy. Not those little bars. Get them real candy bars, like the real size. That's what you want to do. So anyway, thanks everybody. We'll see you again in a few weeks.